So if you know, you activate this rune on yourself, and you have a conversation with it, and it just kind of brings out a lot more information that you would have otherwise.
Mm.
And again, when you already know the runes and know how to deal with them, I want a unique protection for myself that nobody else would know. There you go. Like you're protected from this, or with kids, grandkids, or something. Protect them, or with kids actually is amazing as well, because well, they're more in tune to it,
Mm.
and also, well, it also makes them a target in a sense, for negative energies and stuff, because they don't know how to deal with it a lot of time. Well, they're learning how to deal with this, and especially in the current society, and the bullying and all this other stuff, right? They they need to feel safe. Again, you have the runes. You can give them a certain amulet, uh, make up a story for them, and they would love it.
Mm.
And keep it as a secret. I mean, there's all kinds of ways. It's so, yeah. I can talk a lot, like
Well, it's fascinating. It's been a long while since I was made aware of something that I didn't know anything about, because I'm, like most of us, 20-30 years we've been reading and studying and what have you. So it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating to tune into something that is completely new. And yet when I looked at that stave that you shared about the wealth, there was something extraordinarily familiar. I didn't know the symbols, I didn't know the runes, but I did know the energy. So it's really good fun. It's really, really good fun. And that's what the whole point of it is. I take your point about saving energy to stay on track. I also have a belief that no experience is a wasted experience. And it's that whatever you did in that 6 months was valuable, even though at the end of it you came out and decided, no, I'm just not going to pursue that anymore. I get both sides of that.
Exactly.
But I also know that if I want to write a book, we could all start 12 different books and finish none of them. Because
exactly.
because we think, I could just do that, or I could just do that. And then I'm thinking, God, wouldn't it be fabulous to be zoned in from that higher perspective of the one book or whatever that is going to have the biggest impact for the betterment of all and the evolution of society. So, I really get that.
Yeah. I mean, again, but as I said as well, I get both. I mean, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but also I consulted with the runes. I made a choice to experience that. So of course, overall it was a very good experience, and it brought in some things. And as I said again, you cannot be effective all the time. You're human. You still need the time to rest and have fun and all these kind of things as well.
Exactly.
And on the books, by the way, I do have a rune stave that helps to work with text. And I'll also, to give you an example, I used to, like, when I write articles. Yeah, now it's hard. Not hard to write articles. It's just like now with ChatGPT, you just kind of like, hey, we get lazy, but still, writing is a very interesting process, and it's a very powerful thing. And it would at one point it would take me, like, I don't know, a week, right, to like write a good article, because you write, you rewrite, you edit, and you have to stay in the zone, and you still live, right? So, and then I was like, and then at one point, well, I don't believe in writer's block. I just believe it's just frequency of a person falls. So if you want, there's no writer's block. You just need to raise your frequency, and then you'll be able to write again. But I created this stave, and of course, as always, I test them on myself. Who else? And it took me like 2 hours. I wrote an article, and the biggest check was like the next day after write something. It's like, who wrote this shit? But actually, the next day I was like, oh, okay. It's still, I mean, it's some minor edits, and I did check in, and also because I shared it in the school, in the rune school that I was a part of, and well, she was like, well, she was ex-wife anyway. So other person also, she was a script writer for a TV channel, and she activated it, and her experience was different, which is also again brings me the fact that with runes it's very interesting.
Mm,
um First, when she activated it, she just like she said like, I just fall asleep for half, like right on, almost on the table, I just like fell asleep for like half an hour. But then she said like, when I woke up, like boom, I just like wrote
yeah.
whatever the deadline. I just wrote it, and that's it. Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you decide to write a book, yeah, definitely, I'll be happy to share. Or it's good. It's kind of like it's why again it's like self fulfilling prophecy, right? Which we create a lot of times, and we want to do this, and then we kind of loop ourselves. Well, with runes, you're doing that on steroids, kind of. You're okay, I need this. So it's not just, you don't rely just on yourself. You bring in the help. You
Mm,
bring in the power of the, and not just any help. You bring in the power of the runes that were here for a long time, in ancient time, and all the power of the ancestors. And the reason why the runes resonated with you, there's basically two reasons. Either you in your past lives worked with them, or somebody
mm,
in your ancestor and as your ancestors worked with them.
mm.
So when you're on, it's like, whoa, yeah, it's there. So you just kind of bringing up now in a new way.
Yeah.
Uh, because also the one of the ways I see, I mean, I don't want to like modernize. Like I'm still, let's say, against their apps for like divination. I'm like, no, uh, I'm not exactly a fan of those, because then it's like, as interestingly, it still works. People, but it works. I'm like, yeah, I understand it works, but it's like you create a middleman, which is
Mm,
a different type of like a technocratic consciousness
yeah.
between you and, let's say, and with when you do it with yourself with like analog, then you're gonna have a direct connection. And work again. This is how I look at it. Just like a
Yeah.
live concert and an MP3 recording. They're
Yeah.
two different
Yeah.
things. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, and just bringing up those energies. And another part of it, as you mentioned about learning about something new, it's yeah, it's like there will always be things that we don't know. Like I love this phrase that keeps me going for a long time. There will always be those who know less than you, and there will always be those who know more than you
Yeah.
in any subject. So
Yeah.
it's just, it helps to stay humble as well, and just to be kind of like, yeah, this, and there's so much you can do, and you just do it without
Yeah.
expectations or regrets, or, well, you might have them because you're human, right? But the question is how you deal with them.